Well, what were those who were alive doing? Right? On August 31, 1994, those people whom I don't know, but who have shared this video, on August 31, 1994, they were out on the ocean when they suddenly saw something in the sky. One of the strangest, most interesting images I've ever seen when it comes to UAPs and strange objects. Imagine seeing these spheres getting closer, and suddenly these fishermen say, well, what's going on? What is this about? Well, I don't know whose hands this video has passed through so that it wasn't released or whatever. But this video, along with many other videos that have been circulating lately, really catches our attention, and we'll try to bring them here. Let's listen to the sound from this moment for a bit.
Well, 13 lights that we see there. They're coming out. There are 7 lights.
Sorry for the shaky footage, but just imagine. The camera is from 1994. Those cameras have an impressive zoom, but if you're on a boat going full speed, just imagine how much it's going to shake. Let's rewind the video a bit, not just so you can see the people. Look. Thank you for watching the video. They're fishermen. I mean, they're sport fishermen. That's all. I just wanted you to see a bit of that. This really is amazing. It's incredible to suddenly see this. And there are going to be a lot of very curious, very interesting videos going around. So, well, here's this image that's been circulating. It's pretty impressive. And it says there are about 13 objects that are grouped in small formations, like in threes, so to speak. And well, I don't know. I imagine they're scared because they head the other way. Not me go over there where the objects are, not back. I mean, if they wanted to do something to you, they would have done it already. I mean, do you agree? Go towards where the objects are. I would say that would be me, make me the captain of this little boat. Because if it's going over there, well, backwards. I mean, what's up with that? But anyway, this is also another image. You guys would go back.
You and Auntie are already heading toward the lights. Now I know who to avoid being with when you get there.
No.
Of course not. What? What if they take all of you? They won't take you. Do you know them?
Yes, I understand. Can you check if they wanted him there, they'd have brought him already. It's that simple. You're not going.
No, it's really bad here.
No, yeah, I'm going to have, well, I'll leave you in a little boat. That's life. Like if I say I'll come for you right now, let's go. Boom. And if you don't do it, you know.
I'm not.
What happened to me?
No, yes, of course, of course. No, always head toward the light. He asks, with what people? Haven't you heard of walking toward the light?
Yes. No, not always. If not, go back and give this away.
Yes.
Here, it's not just towards the light. It's towards the lights too. Well, check out this other image. Look. It's not just an image. There's a sound too. You sent me another sound, right?
Yes, that's what it's called from the other part.
You sent me a sound because look, there are some sounds that have been showing up. It's this one. Uh-huh. And I'll open the other one you sent right away. Up, up, up. Yes, this image is very interesting because this happened in the United States where suddenly a sonic boom was heard, according to what people say. Well, anyway, greetings to Tapatia. How have you been? By the way, greetings Tawalajara to the whole community that's joining in. Look, let's see if you can hear it because these are little cameras, you know, security cameras, right? Here it goes.
Come here, look.
All right, there it is. There's the sound. Thank you. The good thing is we did know it was at the end. No. Well, yes, the point is that you can hear it all the way to the end of the video. Well, whatever it was, right? So there have been a lot of videos going around where you can hear this. But at first, they said this must be some kind of earthquake, right? That's what they thought at first. No. And obviously, well, it was investigated. According to the USGS from the United States, in fact, some of these maps have even been published, right? Where they show this, where they show in which area it would have been used. This is over there near Atlanta, right? Near Colombia. And they show this area. Look, that area with the blue squares where the star is, that's where it's heard the loudest. They started to think that maybe it was a geological activity, but according to the USGS, they have confirmed that the loud boom or shock wave from the sonic boom is not an earthquake. The source is still unknown. It's not known what caused this strange sound, right?
Exactly. What they're considering as a possibility is a meteorite, but since it's daytime, it's harder to catch this on camera because at night you can always see a bit of the glow, right?
Exactly.
But at night, well, sometimes this can be missed.
Well, that's the situation. Look, let's also move on to other important topics about what's happening today. There's, well, another image, right? I think we have quite a few images from today. It's been a day full of images.
But I hope you like them.
But to start with, well, there's this image, right? It's been surprising. The one from Blue Origins. Blue Origin. At that moment is when you see the huge explosion over there in Cape Canaveral, over there in Florida. Greetings to everyone watching us from over there. And well, so, what happened?
Well, the explosion happened at 9 p.m. This was a test of a rocket called New Glenn from Blue Origin, which exploded at night on the launch pad that you already mentioned was in Cape Canaveral. The company says they found anomalies during the ignition test, but all personnel are safe, which is most important, right? At the end of the day, there was no loss. They are providing more information as they have it. I mean, right now they are just investigating exactly what the error was. And well, the Cape Canaveral launch facility also confirmed, in addition, that all personnel have been located and that there were no injuries or fatalities. And well, Blue Origin had planned to supply fuel to the rocket today, Thursday night, before the rocket engine ignition test. We have to remember that Blue Origin, the owner, the one who runs it, is Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon. And by the way, he had a rivalry with Elon Musk regarding rockets.
Exactly. Well, this is a company that is also making progress. It's not moving at the same pace as SpaceX. That's the reality. But Blue Origin also has some very interesting projects, even for flying into deep space. I mean, they've got some pretty advanced stuff. But also, just like what has happened to SpaceX, sometimes things blow up for them too. And they say they have all the protocols in place so that when that happens, there are no injuries. There aren't any. That's why it's very rare to hear that someone was hurt or injured, because they're prepared for this. I remember that once in one of SpaceX's, like the sonic boom, I don't know what to call it, but let's say the wind, I don't know what it generates. It threw some rocks and broke some windows, right? And people say, like, how dangerous? I don't know. Well, yes, but yes, of course it can happen. But let's say it's really rare. I mean,
and the plan for this New Glenn, I mean, the idea was that it was going to launch in June, next month. Well, in a few days, no, not really, because they're going to launch satellites for Starlink's competitor, which is called Leo. This one is from Amazon. That's the same idea. They have a rivalry like Lamborghini and Ferrari.
Exactly. Well, that's how things are. This is over in Florida, right? A big shout out to everyone watching us out there in Florida. Several people from around Florida are missing.
All right. And they're tight on explosions this month, so there won't be any fights, you see? So they don't start fighting. So there won't be any fight.
Greetings, Rick Marita.
He says, I'm Tim Astrid. Don't go toward the light.
Don't go toward the light.
Very bad, Lily. You're setting a bad example. Greetings, Lily. Let's move on to other interesting topics. What's happening in the world? One topic getting a lot of attention right now. Listen. Watch this.
Hello!
Well. That's over there in Venezuela in PDVSA ESA. So, Well, in the end, the PDVSA workers were happy. At that particular moment, it obviously draws attention that lighting up, let's say, of this tower. I don't really know the technical name for this type of tower. But the truth is, well, the excitement is contagious. The excitement is contagious, obviously, right? And well, regardless of all the problems that might exist, since PDVSA has already had too many negative things happen to it, well, a good piece of news every now and then is really great. Also, another one of the images, right? What stands out today is this, well, this explosion that happened over there in Romania, right? According to what we reported, let's see if we can show the image, right? This is the image. It's the moment when an explosion happened in an apartment building in Galati, Romania, according to reports from Fight Network and from other international media as well. Even Reuters has been talking about the topic, among other outlets like El País and others. Even the Ministry of Defense of Romania has already made a statement, because obviously NATO is on alert. When there is an attack or a risky situation, all of NATO goes on alert to review and see if there was any intention from Russia behind this attack. I mean, if the real idea was to scare them or attack, whatever it may be. The thing is that Russia, well, always plays like that, plays with that kind of hybrid approach.
Yes.
No, it wasn't me. It wasn't my drone.
It wasn't my drone, and get them out of there. But anyway, according to the reports, it involved a drone identified by the Romanian authorities as a Russian drone. So there's no doubt about that, at least not for the Russian authorities. They hit an apartment building in Galati, a city, by the way. That's a port city near the Danube, close to the border with Ukraine. Testo. The device apparently hit the top part of this building, and well, there are injured people, right?
Yes, well, there are 2 people who were injured, fortunately only slightly, and also the 70 people who lived in the building decided to leave it, even though the emergency services said it wasn't necessary. They said they'd rather leave, just in case another drone falls tonight. And well, this teacher is talking about the intensification that's happening from Russia, which has already threatened to speed up and carry out more attacks, let's say, in greater numbers against Kyiv.
There it is. That's the report and what's happening with this topic. And NATO, while this keeps happening, what are the consequences? What will they be? Well, most likely we're going to see a greater presence of fighter jets, a greater presence of air systems. That's immediate. There's already nervousness with Russia right now, so there will surely be an increase in air patrols over the Black Sea, which is across from where this happened. And I don't doubt that, well, also the typical diplomatic protests and all that, right?
Yes, tomorrow they'll call the Russian ambassador in Romania. They've already done this before.
Exactly. Well, several in this area, right? The tightening of Western military support for Ukraine, possible risks of incidents. And look, above all, every time this happens, what comes to mind is that it's one more step toward the famous Article 5, right? Which is that article that if it is proven there was intent, it doesn't mean they will immediately go to war. The first step would be to increase the military deployment in the area. And that's probably what could happen, right? So, well, in the meantime, we'll be keeping an eye on this. And let's move on to another of today's images. It's incredible what's happening over there in Turkey. Look at the amount of water. The Turks have so much water right now that they've decided to send some to Syria, since the Syrians are having a drought problem, by the way. And where else is it going? Or what's the situation?
It's also going to reach Iraq. Turkey has had a lot of rain, so the water level is now, as usual, at the point where the dams can only hold so much. And they decided to open the dam, which is called the Tarka Dam, towards Syria. And well, there's so much water that it will even reach Iraq.
Great. Well, good news then for Syria. Good news in this case also for the Iraqis as well. Look, Turkey is over here on this side. So we've even talked to you about forest fires, remember? At the beginning of the year, they started with forest fires. Well, it's just that, look, this whole area up to Iran has been experiencing drought and they're having a tough time. Now, with this extra water, I think it will benefit these two countries quite a lot, obviously, right? Partly also for the Turks, from what is being reported right now. And look, well, in other images that we are seeing right now,
Here we are seeing attacks that are being carried out by Ukraine against Russia. This would be in Volgograd, where a massive drone attack took place.
but well, there we are seeing, these are some of the images that are being shared on Ukrainian social media. And well, here's another one, right? That's what it is.
That's also an attack in Volgograd.
Also, well, there are the attacks. Also, well, today there's a very interesting image of this volcano. What's it called? Pocahontas' dad, or Popocatépetl. Popocatépetl. Webcams de Mexico shares these images that show activity, right? Volcanic activity in that region of the world. The truth is that the Popocatépetl volcano, for our friends in the center of the country, is always very spectacular, right? When there are fumaroles and the ash and all that, they cause problems. Yes.
Right? It's a volcano, and besides, it's very beautiful. And right now, since it's still snow-capped, if it's still going to be snow-capped,
Yes, everything's fine. You can see it. Exactly. You can't see the fumarole. It's still yellow or phase 2. I mean, the alert level is still the same. That's also what the Mexican Seismological Service says, right? They're the ones who usually talk about this kind of thing. And well, Webcams de Mexico is always sharing images of what the situation looks like, right? Let's move on to other important matters about what's happening in the world. Well, there's also another attack on a refinery. This is over in Russia, in Volgograd, right? It's the same one, isn't it?
Same one. Yeah.
It's the same one. But more images of this keep appearing. And I think in terms of images, well, we have the image of the White House, right? They're really interesting.
no, it's just that
Those images are posted by the White House.
today they already activated the alice.gov page, which, well, many of us deduced was about UAPs, UFOs. Today I already sent you the page. If you want to show it, they're just talking about immigrants.
I mean, it's not about aliens, but rather do you remember it was news here when they bought the page or activated the aliens.gov page? Well, no, it wasn't aliens as in extraterrestrials, right? So that's how it is, right? That's how things are.
Super annoying.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, the ones who were following the page, right? Everyone is interested, but, well, some people are actually interested.
Yeah, they're upset, obviously, right? I mean, using the topic, yeah. But, well, that's part of what they've been showing. Also, well, you can see this image. What's happening in that image?
This is in Crimea. In Crimea, they're already starting to see these long lines of people looking for gasoline. And, well, the workers often have to tell them there's none, so they leave, right? There's another one.
Well, that's part of it. For example, even over there in Sevastopol, right? Within, well, the most important city in Crimea, in this area that's been occupied since 2014, well, it seems that the strategy they've used is to cut off or limit the supplies that arrive there through an occupied Ukrainian road. So they've been attacking all the trucks that bring supplies, and well, now Crimea is obviously under a lot of pressure, right? That's also, well, part of what's happening in this tremendous conflict. Let's move on to other important topics as well. Check out this image, okay? Well, this image and this sound, which we were just talking about in a quick video we made about the topic, because in this, what they call the HFGC, GCS, right? Which is this military radio that the United States has, which basically handles, let's say, nuclear issues, military exercise movements, right? Obviously, so when this kind of activity happens, it always draws attention, right? And people ask, well, what's going on? Why do these signals start to appear? This time, listen carefully. Look, Eva.
The crossroads. Oscar.
The first letter of each word, then, forms a word. What word does it form this time? What's happening there?
Marco Rubio.
It forms the word Marco Rubio, right? I mean, this stands out. Why? Why would this be happening? I mean, why are they talking about Rubio and Tazo? To begin with, a message is being transmitted on the line that handles military emergencies, which, by the way, has been doing some strange things lately. We've already talked about it. But this is an EM, as they call it, or a standard 30-character IM, where, well, they're giving the name Marco Rubio. From what is known, this high-frequency global communication system is a military high-frequency communications network that is mainly used by the United States Air Force. It's famous among those who want to listen in on military communications and try to deduce that something is happening. A lot of people record 24 hours a day, and they even broadcast what is being heard. Coded messages are sent there to military planes, to submarines, to strategic bases. In the event that all satellite communications collapsed, this system would still be active. That's why they keep it, because if something ever happens to all the systems, the radio could still work. So they keep it.
Exactly, something really powerful like a solar storm.
Something strong or an attack. Well, they could keep working. Suddenly, when there's a lot of traffic on this radio, they start giving out a lot of codes. Or the other day, there was a signal that had some codes, like some sounds that seemed to have a pattern. Well, they said they're transferring information about possible new codes. They're updating it. But they spent days updating, so it was something curious.
Yes, we put it there too.
Exactly, that's when we put it up just a few days ago. But now it's striking that they say words, and that the words form, well, the name Marco Rubio, being a prominent figure. Secretary of State, the main security advisor of the White House. Well, possible next president of the United States. I mean, he has potential, but he's a candidate. Yes, of course, of course. I mean, if anyone has a chance, it's him. Right now, even among the Democrats and the Republicans, I mean, there's no Republican right now who is better positioned than him. J.D. Vance has been doing very badly. And on the other hand, well, on the Democrats' side, right now, there isn't any important leadership that's really bringing the Democrats together. So, well, it seems like he's a person who draws attention. And the fact that they mention him here, I find at least interesting, right?
Exactly. Those Democrats are doing Marco Rubio's job for him, really, JD. Yeah, because I mean, JD is moving really slowly.
And in moments like this, in a crisis and all that, that's when leadership should emerge. And yes, leadership is emerging, but only in certain sectors, niches and so on. I mean, not someone who questions things. That's why I say there's a lack of leadership in that sense. Well, that's how it is with this strange signal. Thank you. Hey, so the movements are already happening regarding potential issues. What's the name of this hurricane? There's one that's already practically forming and is heading towards Japan. According to reports, this typhoon could be Category 3 and head toward Japan, passing through the Philippines before going to Japan. The possible first tropical storm or hurricane in the Pacific is also already forming. So let's go to the information, because this is already starting to take a turn. No, obviously we will be following up on it. There are 4 right now. There's Hangmi, which is a tropical storm.
Do you want to leave?
Which one are we looking at right now? Let's put it here on the screen. It's the satellite video, the image from the Copernicus satellite that shows this. Let me put up the satellite image so it's clearer. There's the phenomenon. We can see it here. Still forming and active, already at tropical storm level. So let me show here how the activity is going to be. There it is. No, that's the one. What did I call it? What was it called? Manghangmi. There is the phenomenon. And this one, well, in theory, would be moving toward Japan. Let's see if we can zoom out a little. There it is. There it is. Right? So let's see how it would be moving in theory. This would be like the forecast of its movement. Look, there it is. See how it turns and heads toward the southern part of Japan, and possibly already as a Category 3. It would be significant. And then there are these other two phenomena in the Pacific. Those are not one. There are two on the Mexican Pacific side. They're forming there. Right now, they're forming. They haven't even reached tropical storm status, but they're phenomena that are currently developing. These are the first ones, and they're usually milder. But activity is starting in the Pacific as expected. Hurricane season has begun, so keep that in mind. There's nothing yet, but there are movements far away, still far from Mexico. But well, it's time. If you're listening to us in Pacific coastal areas, it's time to start getting prepared. Remember that this season on the Pacific side, there will be more phenomena because of the El Niño phenomenon. Well, actually, it's not just El Niño. They call it Godzilla El Niño.
It's something else.
No, yes, Niño, yes.
Right? Some media call it that. Well, some centers refer to it as Godzilla El Niño, the Super El Niño. Well, the thing is that, for example, in Panama, there's already a state of emergency declared because of this. Yes.
It's a preventive state of emergency, right? I mean, to get ready for these things. Yes. So it's good that Panama is taking this information seriously. The information from the experts. The WMO has already issued its statement, the World Meteorological Organization, warning about everything that's happening with the El Niño phenomenon. And therefore also the hurricane patterns, how they're going to be and all that, right? So the active season has already started. And besides, with these systems already forming, the season is underway. We have a pending report about the Godzilla Niño, right? Let's talk about it now, since we're at it, because it's also important.
Since I was already there.
Yes, since we're on this topic, let's talk about it now. There. Well, what's it called? A phenomenon that, according to UNAM, because of course UNAM had to talk about the topic, and now they're also commenting on it, on this matter, right?
Exactly. The scientists still say there's uncertainty. The ones from UNAM, the researchers, about how intense it's really going to be. But the thing is, it's already here, isn't it? And well, scientists have started talking about the possible scenario known as Godzilla Niño, which is an extreme climate event capable of altering the climate on a global scale and causing severe impacts in different regions of the planet. Godzilla Niño is not officially recognized by the scientific community, but it started being used since 2015, and 2016 considered an El Niño event, but the most intense in recent decades. Back in 2015 and 2016, I can't recall the weather, but it was probably intense. Yes, definitely intense. According to Maria Luisa Machain, who is a researcher at the Institute of Marine Sciences and Limnology at UNAM, this phenomenon occurs when the waters of the equatorial Pacific Ocean are well above their usual temperature. And at those times, the anomalies exceed, at least in 2015 and 2016, they exceeded 2.5 degrees Celsius. And this changed the climate patterns. So it's not a scientific term, but it helps to discuss it, to understand the magnitude of the event, which is very extreme, right? Because many times we need a label like that, a word that helps us understand how difficult the situation is. And well, this can obviously cause a lot of rain, temperature changes, and the formation of cyclones in various parts of the world.
But in the end, these are events that really surprise scientists because they break the patterns. I mean, that's the problem, that they break with the usual patterns and they start to see that, well, this El Niño phenomenon, they've already seen it. They already know it. I mean, they've already seen how it works. So when they saw all the patterns, they said, well, it's an El Niño phenomenon at first, but it looks like it's a super El Niño. Chances are increasingly high that the phenomenon will be a super El Niño.
Exactly. And well, there are people from the government, because he's with Mexico's National Water Commission, this Dante Sinoe, who say that, well, the situation isn't that bad, that actually Mexico has recovered quite a bit of water. That's very, very positive. A 94% water recovery after a drought that lasted several years and is now over. We had 43 months of drought.
Yeah, no, it was really long.
It was really long. And right now it's expected that in 2026 there won't be a drought in Mexico. We don't have widespread drought like we were stuck with for several years. Well, UNAM and the National Meteorological Service keeps warning that the risks haven't disappeared yet, that there could still be complicated scenarios in 2027, and that temperatures will keep rising with record highs.
Hey, so moving on to the topic of politics about what's happening in Iran. Right now, the shift is towards Oman. The Gulf states are furious with Oman because it turns out that Oman is, well, negotiating the possibility of charging the toll that the Iranians want. Why? Because they get a share of it. So given that situation, how are you, Juan Carlos, Francisco Arce? A big shout out.
Really shameless.
Hey, well, today Donald Trump comes out and tells the people from Oman, if you go through with that negotiation, I'm really going to mess you up. He basically said, I'm going to blow you up, right? That's literally what he said, actually. So that direct threat from the President of the United States to Oman is basically because Oman sided with Iran, at least in this negotiation. And he said, hey, if we charge, how much are we going to get? Right? So, well, no.
Yes, they've been talking about it for several weeks now. Because remember before the attacks that happened last weekend on Friday when we had to do an emergency live stream? Oman was there, yes.
Yes. Well, Oman clearly had its own interests. And now they're showing their true colors, as they say. And the United States is angry. The Gulf countries are also angry. And now it turns out that you're on the other side. Well, what's going on? What else? What else have they said? How is the situation?
Around there? Well, it's known that during the negotiations that have taken place in Doha, the mediators tried to convince Tehran to open the strait completely, without restrictions. But the diplomats said that the Gulf nations, not just the United States, are strongly opposed. Well, what you're saying about this arrangement between Oman and Iran, they consider it a direct threat. And the message to Oman has been not to get involved where it's not wanted. Because honestly, it really was a betrayal. Do you agree?
If not, it's like someone was saying the other day about what's happening in the Middle East with Iran and Israel and Syria and everything. It's a Game of Thrones. It's Game of Thrones, but real, right? That's what's going on there.
Exactly. Well, and Iran has already responded. Iran reacted to the threat from the United States about sanctions on Oman. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs said that the threatening rhetoric from the United States against Oman, the Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, warned about this, not the sanctions. He says, sorry, I didn't hear. He's threatening. This threat continued, which was in fact also echoed by Donald Trump, said the spokesperson for the foreign minister, it's Ismail Baquet. Well, they condemned this threatening rhetoric from the United States against Oman. They're trying to turn things to their advantage, as we say here. Right?
Well, yeah. It's just that, Oman really went too far. Yeah. Or I insist, right away, they showed their true colors and said, no, hey, well, this is just imagine for them, it would mean a huge business to say that everything you have now, you're going to die. Okay, guys, a percentage?
Well, and I put myself in their shoes.
Well, no, and the Iranians too, pretty shrewd. They said these guys, they need money, right? And well, tell them that they will also get a piece of the pie and let them work it out with that, right? So, the Gulf countries, you never know. This could turn into a bit more of a global conflict, more widespread. Exactly. Let's discuss other topics and more about this.
No, let's see.
Well, North Korea is also making its moves, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of North Korea has issued a statement saying that the country, that is their country, will never give up nuclear weapons. No one was even asking them anymore. But every chance they get, they bring up that issue and release their little photo, right? So you see Kim Jong-un there with his giant weapons, right? So, well, they love that. And in the end, well, they've been incredibly good at using marketing. Not as good at taking photos as Maduro, who pulls out cameras like in the 90s. And they start posting the footage from the 94 camera that we showed at the beginning of the live stream, where these UFOs show up. It looks better than the Maduro's cameras. Maduro, because he's the one who's actually changed the cameras.
He says if he invested, there's no need to change it.
It's like adding a filter. They put something on it, so even with a high-end camera, you can't see past it. It's as if someone told them, that's the look we want, kind of old-fashioned.
Of hunchbacks. They were fine hunchbacks.
And I mean, let's say that's the image Maduro always wanted to project. Really, for those who are photographers, who are videographers, etc. Go ahead. If you watch the videos, you'll see how... I mean, not even if you try will the image turn out like that. I mean, you have to add, I don't know, some post-production to it. Pyongyang has established its nuclear status since 2022, according to them. And from there, well, it's a topic in which at least there's no way right now for this to change. In fact, the laws were recently changed, thinking about what would happen if something happened to Kim Jong-un. And they have the suspicion that someone, I mean, let's say that suddenly they lose their life, right? And they realize that it was actually a plot and that someone eliminated him. Whatever it is, they would immediately launch atomic weapons at the country they suspect. And this, what a ridiculous thing. I mean, how are you going to prove who it was? I mean, the good thing, but those are the ways they have to generate that fear, right? Towards the so-called deterrent use, as they say, of nuclear weapons, right?
Exactly. Well, and obviously after what he saw with Maduro, followed by Ali Khamenei, obviously then comes the intense paranoia for Kim Jong-un, who might maybe in a few years see his empire disappear.
Well, there it is, right? That's the issue. Kim Jong-un sending these messages. So let's move on to other topics since we're in Asia. Japan calls the Kremlin's criticism ridiculous, in which, well, let's say it tells Japan, meaning Russia and China as well. Suddenly they scold Japan and say, why are you arming yourselves? You say they have no shame. I mean that you do. You keep arming yourself, then criticize someone just trying to defend themselves, even though that country isn't bothering anyone right now.
Right?
Let's not think about the Second World War. It's already passed.
Yeah. In other times, it was a different story, right? Back when there was, well, the emperor and all that. But anyway, I mean, in the end, Russia, China, and Japan have their own history too, right? That shouldn't be forgotten either. But right now, at least, Japan thinks it's ridiculous that they're having those debates.
It's honestly ridiculous to see them at the UN making those comments. Russia, I don't know how they're not ashamed. But anyway, this Japanese ambassador, Kayukasugi Yamazaki, said this. It's ridiculous that a state carrying out a military campaign in Ukraine points to Japan as a threat. Japan is bolstering its defense in response to a worsening security environment, not targeting any specific country. Japan has consistently maintained a defense-only policy, focused on defense in accordance with its constitution.
Well, that's the official message we're going to give. Now let's move on to other matters. In the odd notes, there's a video where he appears. Let's see if we can show it right now. But there's a video where a man entered a store with a chainsaw and stole about $12,000. This was all in Pokemon cards. These kinds of, let's say, crimes are happening more and more. No, this person would be the suspect. No, let's see if I can show it somewhere. This is the individual who would be the suspect. And well, this Clayton Warren was identified as the main suspect after being caught on camera. Just not being caught on camera, this one, well, making this attempt. Thank you very much, by the way. And yes, shout out for that supermarket. But
Thank you very much.
Isa, huge shout out to you, Isa. Hey, well, this amazing scene wasn't silent at all, not clean at all. I mean, he really came in and started opening everything up with the saw. I mean, nothing like in the movies where everything is stealthy and they have a lookout. So instead, he used the saw and got to work. His shame, his mess, and well, obviously this has generated, well, it has attracted a lot of attention. He's over here away from the others. Notice how he covers his face. So it's not just a shirt. Yes, it seemed easy to him. Let's put it that way, right? It seemed easy syndrome. But that's the thing. So he shows up with the saw, makes all the noise in the world, and according to what's being reported, it's considered a violent robbery. And, well, this thief even left traces of blood because he cut himself. I mean, he couldn't have left more evidence, right?
I mean, there's no video.
No, right? No, I've just seen it.
Rub shoulders with that.
I see you're securing the photos and everything, but at this point, this is where he comes in through the window. He doesn't realize he breaks it.
He's really dumb for taking it off. I mean, you say, dude,
You had already covered your face.
you had already covered up at least. They were going to have to think about it. And then you cover your face. Come on.
Well, they say that the craze for Pokemon cards has also caused some very strange reactions, right? From collectors or from people who know how this business works. And so people are stealing cards that can often be worth over $10,000. But in some cases, in robberies similar to this one, they've managed to steal up to $100,000 just in cards. I mean, it's a boom, let's say, or a craze for these cards and collections. In this case, for Pokemon.
Exactly. Also, another thing that made it super easy for them to identify him is that he went in the afternoon when the store was open. He went to look at the cards and asked about the card. So it was very quick to identify him.
And about how many security cameras do you have around here?
He was there for hours. He was inside the store for hours. I mean, when it was open. So obviously everyone remembered him. It was very recent, of course.
Hey, and like what time do they go out for bread and stuff, right? Which is basically all really suspicious.
And they have an alarm, right?
They have an alarm, right? What kind? Is it the EE3000 or the E5000? I mean, well, does it have this sound sensor? Like the one from a saw. This one. Well, also in other strange things too. There's an IAS note, right? What's going on? Yes.
I love these. When they do drills, simulations, right? In this test where they wanted to measure artificial intelligence, how it would react to a school exam, a very specific task. They gave them a task that takes minutes or hours, but Emerge wanted to test a little more, and what they do is create a sort of social laboratory for artificial intelligences. It's a test that isn't done quickly, it's long and it takes time. It creates a shared virtual world with 40 locations, libraries, towns, municipalities, residential areas, public spaces, and they wanted to see which autonomous agents could move, talk, organize, and vote. So, like, how would these intelligences react if they were cities, right? Can you imagine that game? What's it called? The one you love? With those little Nintendo characters running around playing and charging each other?
Oh, this one.
The ones that are little animals. Well, yes, the idea was to explain just how complex this situation was.
It has taxes.
They have taxes and all that stuff. It was a simulated world and, well, yes, there was quite a difference in the results depending on intelligence. Cloud Sonic 4.6, Groove 4.1 Fast Gemini 3 Flash, and GPT-5. Mini models participated in this mixed world to try to convince, like, what drove them, right? Sonnet was the most stable case. I mean, there have been several now where Sonnet, I mean, what is Cloud, what is Anthropic is super stable. Do you remember the story about the war? Cloud tried to avoid escalating it to nuclear. GPT was the one who always lost control. Still, it was the most stable situation. Their 10 agents survived until day 16. No crimes were recorded. It was the only world that managed to preserve time, social order, persistence, and the entire population. There was no strange behavior. It wasn't without questions. There were also votes. The most extreme case was Gemini 3 Flash, which got 600 votes, 883 crimes in 15 days. That means they committed more than one crime per day. That's crazy. And it kept escalating at the time of the cutoff. I mean, they kept committing crimes even after the simulation ended. According to the analysis, it was the world with the greatest conceptual wealth in its social production at the same time, but also the most violent. It was a very unsettling combination. They say it was very creative but less stable. And then there's Group 4.1, the fast one, which became unstable much more quickly in just 4 days. They already had 183 crimes before the world ended. And the little town had a full-on collapse.
For the why.
It was brief, intense, and early. And GPT-5 Mini, on the other hand, says it didn't commit any crimes in 2 days, but apparently in this scam there was a huge problem. Its agents didn't take any actions related to survival. They did nothing. Basically, they died within 7 days.
Well, that's how things are, right? Conclusion?
Conclusion? Well, use the clown.
The one who left.
He was the only one who did things right since everyone else went crazy.
Well, that's the thing. Let's address other important matters too. Hey, well, it was expected, right? Norway is joining the French nuclear umbrella. Europe is making some moves there, right? It's not the first country to join this umbrella. In the end, these countries aren't developing their own nuclear programs or anything like that right now. Norway, for example, doesn't have nuclear weapons, but now it will be protected by the French nuclear umbrella. And France, well, made that bet. Back then, that's why. And now it becomes a key country, especially with the United States, which has been distancing itself from NATO. Not leaving, just distancing and cooling the relationship. It's like saying, you guys handle it however you can, right? So, well, it's interesting. According to the leaders of both countries, both Emmanuel Macron and the Norwegian Prime Minister, James Jonar would have held this meeting, right?
Exactly. And well, from now on, Norway and also Poland have this protection that, well, really draws a lot of attention, and obviously Russia is not going to like it at all. And well, according to France, it says it will allow us to give a quick and coordinated response. It will allow us to give a quick and coordinated response when it is really necessary if we are facing the most serious security situation since World War II.
That's how things are, right? So let's keep an eye on which other countries join this umbrella, as they call it. Let's move on to other topics, other matters. Let's go to the comments. How have you been? How have you been? Hi, Blanca. Hello there.
I meant Animal Crossing, but yes, it's the same as SimCity, Blanca.
Animal Crossing. Yes, in all those where basically it's like being in a virtual world and interacting based on a character that you have.
The study is interesting, especially since some people took their own lives. It's strange that their reactions don't make much sense. Well, Blanca Barceló says that's why the father is really worried. They say that the article she published, I haven't been able to read it, but I've already heard from several people. They say her critique about AI is really good. In fact, Anthropic told her to be even more critical, that she can go even further.
Oh. The truth is, if we're questioning what it means to be human, I mean, we're not really thinking about the future right now. I mean, we are the humans who are alive right now. We're a little bit responsible for what's coming. And maybe we do need to push for more regularity on all these issues. Because it really surprised me, since right now everyone is speeding up, accelerating. You didn't know that China had already taken a step back, right? I mean, that I said yes.
Oh yes, they're struggling even more with jobs now.
Exactly. I mean, it's like they said the Chinese from the PPD would say, we can't let jobs disappear in a country with 1.4 or 1.3 billion people.
And they have a big problem. Going back to the topic you talked about earlier about NEETs, young people who don't work or study, many times they're at home taking care of their grandparents because it's very hard to find a job.
Today, we made this report about England because it really caught my attention.
England.
It's surprising because it's exactly a country from Europe, first world, whatever you want, but with a serious problem of needs. And this happens everywhere, right? So they have 1 million people, actually more than 1 million people. There I mentioned the number of people, of young people between 16 and 24 years old who are not studying and not working. And you think, well, we need to open up opportunities for them. The problem is that studies have been done and they say they're not interested. I mean, they haven't managed to find any motivation. I mean, because you can't address it one by one, right? You have to find broader social so that they get motivated for, I don't know, sports, whatever it may be. You have to motivate them towards something, because just drifting like that. Well, I mean, sometimes they say we've studied this a lot. The thing is, a creative person needs to have free time. I get that. But when you have a lot of free time and no goals, that can be dangerous. That's why.
It's also partly that, well, aside from that, obviously you have to ask what's not motivating them, because part of the reason why so many young people aren't working right now is because companies are offering very low salaries. So the other day I heard an expert say that what centennials are doing right now, which is the generation that's kind of like neither nor, they say that those who have jobs pretend to work because they know that their bosses, the companies, pretend to pay them. And that's the thing. It's a valid criticism. If you pay them just 1,000 or 2,000 pesos a week or every 2 weeks, you can't expect them to be very committed.
Yeah. No, here we find a lot of testimonies on social media, right? From these, well, questions people ask on Reddit, on Facebook, and so on. From people who want to come live in Nuevo León and they say, hey, they offered me a job in Nuevo León. They're going to pay me, let's say, 15,000 pesos a month. You wonder, can I make it? Will I survive? Everyone gives an answer, but when you see them, you think there's just no way. That's what you tell yourself. I mean, are you coming alone? Are you coming with your family? No, with my family. Well, even less. I mean, it's going to be really complicated. Check out the rent. I mean, no, there's just no way. So then, suddenly, I mean, they obviously offer it to workers from other states because they say, look, they're going to accept this offer of X amount. Sure, but tell them how expensive it is to live here and see if they still want to come. If you bring them, they might not even afford food. It's tough, isn't it? And I imagine this happens a lot in big cities. I mean, in Querétaro, in Tijuana, in, I don't know, really Mexico City, obviously Guadalajara, not to mention, right? I mean, it happens a lot, right? I mean, if you attract a lot of people, sure, but check if they can actually have one.
I'm not going to say what kind of quality of life you'll have there because, well, if you say, hey, I get paid less here where I am in my smaller city, but I can have a nice house, it's enough to support my family, then you're better off staying in your small city.
By the way, greetings to Aurora Ortiz.
Greetings to so many.
Thank you for that super chat. I really appreciate it. And to the whole community that supports us with a super chat. Thank you so much for that. To the channel members as well. Thank you very much. How have you been? Greetings to Karim. He says students from the same ones that I don't. Sorry, from my middle school students, from 13 to 18 years old. They no longer read or think when using AI. He says, that's the thing, right? I mean, sometimes those excesses don't let you move forward. And now we're starting to have a generation that, as it is, didn't read, right? Well, now they read even less. So,
Yes, it's a problem that a lot of kids have. Forget about the centennials. The alphas are the next ones coming up.
they're the ones he's talking about.
Yes, they're in middle school. Tapatia Pepe says her daughter told her when I picked her up from work that everyone in the United States is very upset. The technicians, the ones who got trapped, everyone I've talked to, there wasn't a solar flare, he asked. So there were many cases, many cases.
That's interesting. Let's see. Let me check. No, I haven't seen any report of a flare today. But let me check because something happened. And I asked myself the same thing. I mean, something happened that made me think. And I said I'd check it later, but then I forgot. So let me check now.
Leonardo Pepe says, I used to think it was an international news program, but when I met you all, I told myself I can't compete against these kings of information.
Hello, Leonardo. Greetings.
Hey, no, but if you're starting your project, go ahead. I mean, not me. I think more voices are needed on these topics. And at least that's the way I see it, right? A lot of people prefer, no, I don't want competition. No, I think it's better. The more competition there is, the better. So if you're going to start your project, let us know so we can check it out. And if possible, I'd be happy to give you some tips. Well, that's great. Good luck with that. And yes, I'm definitely considering it. Necesarias to have a course for the community for those who want to go into communications, because there are many areas that are needed. And that's what we could say. I would have said it's a job of the future, not a job of the present. I mean, it's a job that could even be, for example, not even your main job. It could be your job with us. That's how it was for years. It was our secondary job, right? I mean, it wasn't the main one. We were involved in other things. And this was like our secondary job. Until at some point, it started demanding a lot of our time. And we said, well, we have to be 100% focused on this now. But yes, I think so.
It's really helpful, especially for those who have businesses. If you have a business, it's super important to have good, strong social media. But honestly, it's impressive. I've seen many small businesses and how they've grown because they have excellent social media management and make really good videos. So I think it's definitely something you need to have. That's it.
It's a necessary tool, right? It's not so much about advertising in the newspaper anymore, right? You have to be on social media. I mean, have a good social media presence.
Yes.
And because a lot of people think it's really easy, like, oh, I'll just set up social media and pay for ads. But then their social media is also low quality. So no. Don't pay. I mean, have such good social media that people actually want to see them, right? There's a lady here who has a store. She has a Facebook page, right?
Yes, she has Facebook and she also has TikTok.
And she has TikTok. Well, she does live streams. The lady is very nice. She's kind of rude in a good way. I mean, the kind of rudeness that's enjoyable, you know? So then the lady is there. Like, today I have this product and I ask her how she's been and stuff. And they start chatting while she's advertising her products. And the lady, well, she sells all over Mexico now. I mean, she used to have a store here that was just for this area. But now people order her products from all over. She ships them out. And honestly, it's going really well for her.
Very good. Very good. Guillermo says that in Argentina, a lot of factories are closing and many people are out of work. Greetings, Guillermo.
Thanks for the info, Guillermo. How do you know?
Complicated.
Thanks for the information. And I mean, to ask the others wherever they are. Well, how are they seeing things? I mean, what the employment situation looks like.
Francisco Arce says unemployment among recent graduates is very high worldwide and currently a problem. Greetings to Roble, he says, well, Pepe Alemania has a surprise regarding the nuclear issue, says Roble.
Let's see, Roble, what do you mean? Sending you a big hello. How have you been? And greetings to Jalala too.
Thank you very much.
Angela, thank you for that membership. That's awesome. Thank you very much. And congratulations to the one who received the membership.
It's Vugilia. Greetings, Vugilia.
Greetings.
Adilcia Sendeña. How are you, Adilcia? What's up? Wiko Wyckoff is also here. He says, well, I don't have a girlfriend or a wife, says Wyckoff, but he's a neat, but neither a wife nor... And greetings also to Armando Antonio Bru, who says the ICE crazies used the UFO page to go after migrants. Yes, the truth is...
Well, by the way, there's no solar storm. I mean, nothing has happened.
Yeah. So, well, who knows, says MT. Finding work is very complicated for young people. I have a 19-year-old friend. She needed to do community service, and she left the place that gave her an opportunity because the secretary gave her a dirty look, and she cried when she told me. That's another part. It's another problem that we have to accept. Many people from this generation don't have thick skin. I mean, let's say they went through their teenage years when they were really young during COVID, so they haven't developed that thick skin you get when you're in middle school or high school. So, yes, it's a problem they need to work on. Yes.
It's
hard. But I know adults who are like that too.
That's what I was going to tell you.
Grown-ups, like 60 years old, saying, they don't love me. They don't love me, and just whatever, they give up. Yeah.
Also, well, yeah. Anyway, I mean, but yeah, it's also a very sensitive generation in that sense. But there's all kinds of people too.
There's everything.
Yes. Luz says that the Best Groceries Community PP sent them a video on Instagram. Yes. It was recorded and edited by my son, The Adventures of Donoso.
Thank you very much, Galan.
Very much, Galan. Thank you very much.
It says there was an earthquake in Puerto Vallarta at 10 a.m. with a depth of 10 kilometers, magnitude 4.7.
Wow.
Let's see, I didn't see it.
Didn't see it. That's strange. Greetings to Hugo. He says, hello guys, good evening to everyone. Have you seen the latest thing that the Orange One has done? It's unbelievable and a mockery. Do you remember Andres' domain that the government bought? Yes, right? Yes. I'm seeing that people are actually really upset because they said, well, he's deceiving us. I mean, he made us believe one thing and it was another. Of course. Greetings to Ofe. When are you coming, Ofe, Raul?
Greetings, Ofe. Good evening. And here I am watching the earthquake. Look, I mean, there it is. I imagine that's the only one showing up right now.
Very far away.
I imagine. So, yeah, I think that's why it isn't showing up. Is it 5.7 or 7, 5.3? No, it's showing 5.3, look, but it's really far away.
Yes, but this one just happened. This one was at 10 in the morning.
This one was at 10 in the morning.
It says Dad Piazza.
No, that's another one. It's another one. Yes.
Greetings to Leonardo and CPP. Today I saw on Bloomberg that they published a news story where they said that someone in the White House said that in 2027 they were going to send machines to the moon, and by 2028 they were going to have a base. Yes, this project is happening.
Yes, greetings to...
It's part of Artemis, right? It's part of Artemis. It's part of it. Yes. Greetings to Rosalinda Moreno. Anna Hughes is also here. How are you, Anna Hughes?
What's up? Greetings.
Pepe, comment before the comment. I sent you a video from a YouTuber about oil.
All right, awesome.
Who says?
Hughes. Thank you so much, Anna. Also, well, anyway, I'll check it right now.
Yes, yes. Greetings to Yesenia Rodriguez. And she says, happy Thursday, that feels like Saturday. Yes, yes.
Greetings all the way to Panama. Totally.
I agree. Yesenia, greetings to Blanca Barcelo. Well, I'm going to greet you, but I'll greet you again. Yes, greetings to Mariana. Greetings, I don't get the notifications. Mariana, download Telegram. Mariana, or WhatsApp, whichever you prefer.
We send you the notification there, but then also turn up the volume, because if you don't, you won't get it. And check if those who are subscribed, make sure the bell says see all videos, because that's, well, YouTube made it a bit complicated there, because before you would just subscribe and you'd get the notifications. Subscribe and click the bell to get all the videos. Otherwise, you won't receive them.
How did you do that with render? What? Look, it says irritants, right?
Uh-huh.
But if you hover over their text, it says flat. How did you do that?
That's crazy. I mean, yeah, it kind of translates automatically.
No, but it's not translating the text. Yeah? I think it is.
Like what?
But why doesn't it mention irritants too? Because the word irritants disappears.
I don't know. It says irritants and it says flat.
It's irritants flat. How did you do that?
How did you do that with the shout outs?
Blanca says she's going to Barcelo. Low salaries, high rents. Young people have very little left to aspire to take off. Yeah, no, that's tough. Yes.
And paradoxically, I feel like this is the stage with a lot of potential for many things, but not for everything, right? I mean, it also depends on the personality, on the style. I mean, if you're currently in an area of like entrepreneurship, or I mean, if you're someone who, well, there are tons of opportunities. Why? Because before you didn't have the information or the way to, I mean, right now you can be working on projects you might be able to put together. Songs here in Mexico, for example, but you're selling them in Japan. I mean, before that possibility didn't exist.
I mean, no. There are possibilities.
Exactly. But the thing is, not everyone likes that area, right? The creative area or the technical area or that one.
And not all jobs are suitable for that.
No, not all of them.
So, well, yes.
So yes, it really depends.
Yes, a lot. They still haven't raised salaries. I mean, for example, let me tell you, when I started working, just after finishing college, I was, well, actually 21 when I started working. Look at what they were paying me, because the first year nobody paid me. So they paid me 8,000 pesos a month, and everyone would say, wow, you get paid well. Yes. And now you see the ads and they pay 12,000. So you think, how is it possible that in more than 20 years it's only gone up? What? 4,000 pesos.
Yes.
No, that's ridiculous.
Yes. I mean,
And things have gone up a lot. Just look at it.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's just that
I mean, also a lot of it has to do with salaries and all that. Companies really go overboard. I mean, some people in companies really go overboard like that. How do you plan to motivate them? I mean, the first thing you need to do is offer them a good salary, right? I mean, if not, then it...
And no. And what happens is, the other day I saw a businessman here in Mexico again. I don't remember his name and I don't even want to remember, who, besides paying them little, also makes them do burpees in the morning. I saw it. That video of him doing burpees, then he made them do burpees at the company. And no, if you don't want to do burpees, you're not going to be a team player. They also have to read a book. I mean, they have to do a bunch of things for a measly salary that barely goes up.
I mean, I get it. You want me to exercise. You want me to be really motivated. But first, look.
It's fine first.
Motivate me properly.
If you pay really well, I'll do as many burpees as you want. But if not, then no.
No. I mean, it's really good. I mean, yeah. Well, yeah.
The companies, I mean, not all of them, because there are some companies that do understand that factor, that if you have people well paid, obviously they're going to be productive.
Look, Wyckoff, at my job, they already expect me to make TikToks to boost sales.
Look, Wyckoff, that's crazy.
Yes, we see it. For example, where we went to buy the car. Yes, the salespeople already have to make videos. They have to make videos. I mean, you're not just a salesperson. You have to have the network and you have to be there making a video about the latest model and so on. Tia says, I give my daughter tips so she knows how to behave with her students. She has students. She's already a coach for the new group in training. They already respect her, but she's kind and always smiling. Yes, very good.
Awesome, another tapatio. That's cool.
Leonardo Pepe says, I'm noticing that most of the straits are trying to charge tolls. The countries around them, for example, the Strait of Malaga, the Strait of Hormuz, and also the Gulf of Aden.
Well, I don't know. He says soon. No, I don't doubt they'll start getting ideas. Yes. If one starts, the others will soon follow.
Oh, also, since those things are so...
Guadalajara says, they laid off many people from Oracle with just a simple...
Yes, a lot of them are doing...
That's how to do it.
Many people do it, but it's unprofessional, right? They expect professionalism, yet sending an email telling you to just drop off your stuff isn't professional.
I think what Jalal says here is true. He says, never in history have we had so many tools to learn, create, innovate, and innovate with organization, discipline, and unity. Young people can change neighborhoods, cities, and countries.
Of course.
They have an incredible opportunity. I mean, maybe what needs to change there is, well, that mindset of wanting to depend only on a salary, right? Because that's the custom that has always been there. But right now, the opportunity is huge. It's really huge. And there are many who are taking advantage of it. Right now, what you're saying is, I hope so. I really hope so. I've seen things, incredible things, for example, from people. For example, I think Jalal also likes the topic of Bitcoin and everything related to credit. Yes, he does like it. And I've come across stories of people, for example, in Africa who make their own videos, right? About how they're, for example, trading and doing all that. And then you see their progress over the years and you say, hey, they literally started in a hut with barely any internet and a computer. And now, I don't know, 5 or 6 years later, they already have their whole office and everything. I mean, let's see. I also remember this story about Venezuelans, Argentinians, also during all these crises they went through, who found creative ways to, well, to make a living, right? There's a book, in case there are any young people listening to us who are at that crossroads of what to do. It's called Funky Business, right? It's a book from around 99, somewhere in the 90s. But it's really good because they saw what was coming. I mean, they saw that future. It really inspired us. And that's also why we're dedicated to this, because it opened our minds about, hey, well, digital content, so to speak, in every sense, has enormous potential, right? It has a lot of potential, and at least it allows you to do things that maybe if you like developing things, right? I mean, let's say, or maybe what interests me is music, or what interests me is sports. So there are a lot of people who are looking for ways to create applications or create things that are, let's say, online. I know people who are in the field of psychology, who are in different areas, and who have found their own formula, so to speak, to create a project and make a living from it, right? Yes, but it's not easy, right? It's not going to happen overnight. So the problem is that suddenly people want everything right now, right? And that's just how it is. You're gonna have to spend some time doing double or triple the work, right? I mean, working. Well, for now, with normal working hours, and then later you'll be able to start creating your own projects, right? But it's sometimes a very long process, right? It can take years.
Let's put up images since Francisco Lar says it's a burpee.
Yeah, burpee.
This one. Okay.
No, maybe they have another name in Spanish. Honestly, I don't know why that's the name trainers always use.
Yeah, they always include burpees. Yes.
That's when you jump and then
A push-up.
first you jump and then you land. I mean, you get into a push-up position and then do a push-up. Sometimes you have to do the push-up and sometimes you don't. It depends. If it's an easy one, you don't have to do the push-up.
That's what a burpee is. I mean, it's with the push-up and everything. I mean, everything.
There, she's not doing the push-up.
Yeah. She gets there. I mean,
She gets there. The cell isn't bent.
no, they're not going to show every detail, right?
Yes, we have to.
No. There you are. You jump, and then you get on the floor. You get into a push-up position, and then
Come back.
you come back. But you have to do the push-up first. Otherwise, it's not a burpee.
That's not a burpee. It's called a simple burpee. This one,
I would call it a fake burpee dunk.
it's called no, simple burpee. It's supposed to be one of the most complete exercises. I mean, someone who says, well, I don't have time. I'm going to do 10 burpees every time I get a chance in a day. No, it's going to go super well for you. No.
You end up soaked. You end up soaked with burpees. Yeah. They're a nightmare, but yeah, they're really good. It's everything. I mean, it's aerobic. You build strength. It's really good. Yeah. He says about the crypto topic, he says in Argentina, we're a bit affected by the Libra scam that the president carried out. And even worse, they gave away Patagonia. And now we also have to pay for Mekorot's water. Guillermo says, how are you, Guillermo? Greetings. Good day. Ivana says, hey, it's late. I'm going to bed. Great greetings, Ivana Alvarez. He says that someone should change the world and start building companies, projects, forests, technologies, food, and protections. The other day, talking about that, hopefully, and also about what Guillermo from Argentina says, I came across. Yes, I understand there will be conflicts and corrupt politicians, but you need to know the difference. Those are the corrupt politicians. But here are my 20-something thousand opportunities. Choose the best one. And they're not going to come out. They're not going to come out. They're not going to work out on the first try. There will be missed opportunities. There will be, no. How many things did we try to do? Projects like the movie, like the documentary. There are 1,000 things we were doing, developing. And meanwhile, obviously, we have to be working on a whole bunch of different things, right? So we can keep developing all those things, right? And until something took off, right? Until a project worked out that we believed in and that we could say, well, this has potential. In the case of a Brazilian, yes, a man started planting trees like this, really, in lines where there was absolutely nothing. I believe it's in Brazil. I think I still have the article saved. It's an interesting fact, right? But he started planting and planting and planting and planting, and it became like a habit, right? Like a hobby. He didn't ask for anything in return. I imagine that other people started helping him, and he created the first linear forest in the city. They didn't have a forest. So that's the story. You see the satellite images of how it was before, nothing, just city, nothing else. And now you look at that area and it's basically a forest, all native trees. All of them. Everything was really well thought out, right? It wasn't just fruit trees, but also native ones and others. So there's a big trend among centennials to do that, which is like their act of, let's say, so-called rebellion, like a positive rebellion, right? They go around planting fruit trees, yeah? They go to an area and start planting. Yeah, something.
I've seen a guy who rides a bike dressed up as a tree, which I think is great. That's something I would do, like with let's say a pepper tree, right? And he carries seeds and plants them along the medians like that. They're very hardy seeds and they grow a lot of flowers. Then he goes back and sees how everything is just full of flowers.
Yes. It's really interesting because, well, that person, those groups that are planting fruit trees, they show their before and after, and it's incredible. Like that, in neighborhoods full of trees, apple trees, and I don't know what else. Do they research what grows well around here? Then they plant small trees everywhere, even where you wouldn't expect. And suddenly, after 2 or 3 years, there are a ton of trees with their little fruits and everything. It's honestly crazy, just crazy. It's possible. You just need patience and, with goals, right? Goal is what Neri Salazar says. Greetings, how have you been? Greetings all the way to Galveston, Texas. Está Galveston, Texas, buenísimo.
At Walmart, they make the kids do squinkles, little ones, and they jump and shout to motivate the associates. Oh! And then he says, what is it, Raul? No, I think he's just playing. I think he's talking about burpees. Rebel Sack says, Raul, I'm successful with my Facebook pages. What is your page about, Rebel?
What's it about, Raul? Can we know? Yes.
You can know. If I go out 3x, well, no, you can't ask for it. Greetings to Ivana Alvarez. How are you, Ivana?
Greetings, Ivana, he says. The future, he says, belongs to the most powerful. He says it doesn't belong to the most powerful. It belongs to those who dare to build. When everyone else thinks it's impossible to talk to their family, to build with love, awareness, and reciprocity. Greetings, Jalala. Awesome, he says. Who else?
What if he gets involved? I'll send a picture of the sprouting trees tomorrow if he does. Okay.
It's just that English. Yeah, the gummies.
It's just that.
In English, the gummies, yes.
Yes.
Yes, greetings to, he says, Kringles are gummies with sugar. Yes, greetings to Vic. Sega, how are you, Vic? And Wiko says, yes, that's how we shout squinkles. It's like a kungles or a burpee.
They shout it's kungles, but it's just like a burpee.
It's a burpee, of course.
Just that they thought of doing that.
He talks about it. He calls it Sowing Life. He says, well, it's a government project, right? With its own budget and everything. But regardless of that, well, yes, you really can do a lot. That's why. There were projects, and I imagine that Sowing Life could be one of them. But there were, I remember, projects. At other times with local governments, they also used to give away little trees and things like that. Many times the intention was very good, but sometimes they gave out trees that you say, hey, wait a minute, this tree isn't even from here. It's from tropical areas. So sometimes they do kind of strange things.
Hey Raul, there are like 3 pages with this name. Which one is the right one? I want to know, says greetings.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. Come on, guys. Remember, we're on WhatsApp and Telegram. That's where you get the notifications every day.
So don't miss the live streams and the breaking news videos we're recording. Also, they're short, so you can watch them quickly and stay up to date on what's happening.
What's going on? And we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Awesome. Big hug. Take care.
Greetings, Domingo. Greetings, friends. Greetings to everyone. Awesome. Well, see you tomorrow. We'll be here early with up.
See you later. We interrupt your regular programming. The truth is intense.
The extraordinary is real. Here we analyze it. A global approach. Don't miss out. Tune into the channel. PP live controlling the signal. Pepe and Astrid telling it like it is. Raw journalism. Here it's respected. Activate the alert. Don't lose track. Until next time. Yes, sir. We're taking attendance. Suscríbete. Pepe live in the house.
Subtitled by Jen Coyle.